Wait, so you're saying I have to pay almost £2 for a camo that is blue? Well, that is shit. Yo, what is up guys, this is Tyrannic Swine here, and welcome to another game review. And this time, I am doing Evolve, a first-person shooter MMO search and destroy type game that was developed by Turtle Rock Studios. Now Evolve is, when I first saw the trailers for this game like 2 years ago, I thought this was a very interesting looking game. But then I played the game and yeah, this is a very disappointing game. Usually games like these that are like MMO based really don't catch my eye or do well for me. Very few have ever really done that. But Evolve isn't one of those. There is like a lot of there is a certain amount of game modes in this game, and there's even a campaign. It shouldn't even be called a campaign, because let's just say the campaign is just basically 5 missions of each of the game modes in this game, and that's pretty much it. There's like probably a cutscene in between the missions that you do, but then that's really it. I mean, you play as a bunch of characters, or the monster, basically try and win against the match, and then you basically decide the fate of the planet that you are pretty much evacuating. But the thing is, you don't really get a very good conclusion to the story. Doesn't matter since there isn't really a story in the first place. So yeah, it's like the story of Evolve is poor. It's piss poor. I got nothing from this game. This game, I played it for like a good few hours, and that was pretty much it. I played each of the game modes, see what there was, and in the end I just really didn't get into it. It was, like I said, I'm not really one of those guys that's really into the MMO area of games, and despite Evolve looking like it could have been a very interesting game, the fact that you play it as a squad of human hunters and have to find and kill a giant monster seemed like a very interesting concept. But easier said than done. The execution, the planning was good, but the execution is horrible. I mean, this game lacks from a lot. It lacks a lot of content. This game, when it first came out, had nothing really. It really had very little to begin with, and you can obviously tell because it required 2 season passes, two of them, just so you can have enough content to play this game for a good bit. And that is bad. That is awful. That is really bad. I've never seen a game that requires you to have 2 season passes for content. I don't think I have, at least, but this is the first time I've ever seen it. That is bad, especially since you have a very poorly done campaign and hardly any content to begin with when it first came out. I mean, now, since I got the Ultimate Edition, there was some content there, but you still had to pay for some of the other stuff. And yeah, this game just basically relies on you buying a lot of extra content, which is ridiculous. I mean, the camos for the weapons and your characters themselves aren't even that good looking. I mean, Call of Duty has some really bad camos in the later games, but this is just bland. Awful. Yeah, I really think that they could have actually tried to put in a story for this game at least. I mean, it would have been difficult since it is an MMO type game, and it would have been very difficult just having to create a story of a group of hunters trying to kill a monster, but I mean, yeah, there was really nothing in the story for this game, and yeah, that really did suck. Now, this game isn't a total loss. There is some good elements in this game, like probably the mechanics of this game. This is mainly a teamwork, a cooperative type of game. Well, if you're on the human side, since each human character, sort of, there is split into different classes. And these are Supporter, which is made to help support the teammates, like give them an edge over the monster. Trapper, which are like supposed to track down the monster and like set up traps. medic, which are basically supposed to help heal your teammates, and then there's assault, which are designed to do a lot of major damage against the monster. And I like how each of these classes do sort of get the job done well. And if you have a lot of good teammates around, you can actually be a really effective team. And it's probably one of the few good points about this game is the fact that you do need to rely on teamwork to take down a monster. Each of the characters have like a primary weapon, a secondary weapon or a gadget, and then they have like two special abilities that'll either help them or their teammates in battle, like a sort of an increased shield or other things. And I really thought it was interesting. The classes and the variety of the characters and their powers I thought was actually pretty decent. And the fact that you could also use a jetpack as well to like hover around and to like get up cliffs and stuff like that. I actually thought the variety, well, I'm not sure how many characters there were to begin with, but I thought the variety of characters was actually fair decent. And how they worked was, they all worked pretty well, mostly, especially if you have an effective team. The monster was actually another interesting part of the game, because the monster I thought was very... it's nice to actually try and play as the enemy for once, and like to be the big enemy. Since only one player can play as the monster. Now the monster requires to eat wildlife so that it can like evolve into a much stronger monster, so that it can have a chance against the humans. And when they evolve, you basically can upgrade your 4 abilities that each monster has. Now when this game began, I think there was only 2 monsters to play as. Now there's like 6 or 5, and I think each of these monsters actually look pretty cool. I think they're all done particularly well, I think. I mean, I didn't play a lot of this game, but I played it enough so I could make this review. But I think monsters work very well, especially considering they have to like overcome a lot of obstacles in their way. So yeah, I feel like the mechanics of this game were done particularly well. The maps, I mean, the maps are open world, and the graphics are okay. I mean, there's a few tad bits here and there, but I thought the maps were okay. But for some reason, they feel a bit, like, kind of structurally wise, they're kind of mapped out the same. For some reason, I felt like the maps, even though they look different, they felt kind of samey, which doesn't really bode well for your game, kinda, if I felt like that. There is about 5 game modes in this game. One of them is Hunt, which is basically the most common one that everyone played. There is a Defend. There is a Defend game mode, which is where the humans must protect a generator or a shield generator from the monsters, so they can make sure that the evacuation can actually happen. There is Nest, which is where the human characters have to destroy like monster eggs and stuff like that, and the monster has to defend them. There is Rescue, which is where the human characters must rescue a bunch of survivors, and the monster has to kill those before the humans can. And then there is Arena, which is sort of like an all-out dogfire or something. I didn't really play that game mode. Some of these game modes weren't entirely popular with the people or the players. Hunt was the main one that people played. So yeah, if you were trying to get into any of the other matches, yeah, good luck with that. But, I mean, you could play it on your own with AI players, which would give you a decent thought on what the game modes were like. I think these game modes were okay, not the best, but there's very few game modes, to be honest. There's only like 5? 5 isn't really much, and seeing as the campaign has like 5 missions, one with each of these game modes, it is very lacking. It's like, even though the season pass gives you more customization, more monsters and characters, it doesn't give you any other game modes, which is kind of disappointing, really. Yeah, but Evolve is a really disappointing game itself. It mainly is just a search and destroy type game, along with some of the other game modes that sort of like are mainly about defend, and yeah, it's basically sort of a single player MMO search and destroy type game. And yeah, that didn't really last long for me. This game is very short for me. It didn't last long whatsoever. I mean, I got bored very quickly playing this game. The only time I really felt excited was probably playing as the monster, but then that's it. Playing as the humans is okay, but it's just that the fact that this game really does suffer from a lack of content. That is the main thing with Evolve, is the fact that it lacks a lot of content. And the fact that they needed 2 season passes just to make up for that, and even then, I don't think that was enough. Overall, I think Evolve is a game that really could have been a decent game. On paper, it was a decent, like, it looked like a decent game. But in the execution, it was awful. It was god-awful. I mean, this was a boring-ass game. I can really see why people really did not like this game. It was one of the first major disappointments of 2015. But it wasn't the last. There was a lot more during that year, and this was just one of those. So yeah, overall, I'm going to give Evolve a 4 out of 10. So, that is my review of Evolve, a game that could have worked well if there was either a lot more content, or if the story was actually much better and given some thought in the process. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this review. Leave a like down below, subscribe, comment on what you think is right or wrong with the game, and I shall see you guys in the next random video.